Hello, this is Ina and welcome to another bookish video. Finally, another month has come. It's time to reset our TBRs and decide on the books that we will be reading for the month. And I'm super excited to share with you guys my April TBR. So for this month, I actually decided to divide my reading list into priorities and possibilities. And I think I'll be going this route moving forward. So I gave myself kind of a challenge because so far in 2024 I have been successfully reading a lot of books. January was 15, February was 18, March was 18, so I'm still very optimistic with how my 2024 reading would be. I am like 25 books ahead of my 2024 reading challenge, which means like I'm not really scared of reading slower in like this month just so that I can accomplish my priority TBR. I know that there are so many books, so little time, but no, I feel like challenging myself this month, so let's see. So today I'll be talking to you about priority physicals, priority ebooks, and priority audiobooks. I also have possibility physicals and possibility ebooks. For audiobooks, I'll just wing it as I go because I tend to just click on what's available at my library anyway. So for this month, I actually did focus more on Asian books. And then I also have Arc April in mind. So those are our priority books for this month. And now let's start with my physical TBR. The first book I plan on reading is quite the challenge. It's A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. I know that so many people have read this book. It has quite the number of ratings on Goodreads already. Either people love it or people hate it. What I do know is that people don't really recommend this read to anyone because it's very full of torture, pain, trauma, and it can be triggering to a lot of people. It can also affect the mental health of a lot of people. Like, you have to be in the right headspace to approach this book. It's also quite challenging because it's around 800 pages long. But I am up for the challenge since, again, I am way ahead in my reading goals. So I have the time, I think, to dive into this one. My sister has read this one before me, and I think it's about time for me to jump in on the bandwagon. I bought this copy, actually, I think, around the time when I started my YouTube channel. So it's been sitting on the shelves for 4 years already. So it's time to read it and decide if I wanted to stay here or if it needs to go. Yeah, I know that it's quite a heavy read, but I am quite strong in that sense. I think a lot of things don't bother me in the books that I read, particularly, of course, in the fan fiction I read. I am more of an angst girly and I live for the pain in like my fix. That's why I tend to go the lighter route on the traditionally published books I read. But let's see. So there. So the second book I plan on reading is actually a recent purchase. This is ASAP by Axio. I think this is a companion novel in the XOXO universe. And I loved reading XOXO. I think I read it at the time where I wasn't really making a lot of videos and I was on a reading slump. But since I am a super K-pop fan, a K-drama fan as well, anything K-wave, really, I did really enjoy that one and gave it 5 stars. I think I was also a baby army at that time, and any Korean music reference I've been eating up. So I want to continue on and read ASAP. ASAP is about K-pop idols Sori and Nathaniel. They are both K-pop idols, and this is a second chance love story. So I don't want to dive in further about that, but we all know that the K-pop industry has its negative side, and it's mostly about dating bans and being too focused on their careers. Also, fans behaving too protectively over their idols. So I think those are things we'll be talking about here. So the final book on my priority TBR for this month is Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. I haven't read the Poppy War series. I actually unhauled it. I haven't read Babel as well. But I think this one would be like a good introduction for me to RF Kwang's literary universe because I'm not really a fantasy girly. So I was like, when I saw this one, I felt like I finally found the RF Kwang book for me because it is set in the space of authors or writers and publishing. So I was really curious about this one. I have seen it on many people's like top books of 2023, and look at the cover as well. So this is Yellowface, and all I have at the back are blurbs by other famous authors. I bought this one alongside ASAP, and this book is heavily influenced by social media era, diversity, racism as well, and all those things, all those drama surrounding those things. So we'll see. It has deckled edges. So now we go to my priority ebook list. I have this little thing to guide me here. So the first one is Crying in H Mart by Michelle Zauner or Zauner. This is a hold I had in my library for quite a while. And then last night, just as I was creating my TBR, I just received a notification that my hold is now ready for me to borrow. So I think it's a perfect time to add that to my TBR because I've been waiting for quite a while. This would be included in a Reading Like BTS video because Jungkook has talked about this book, which made the author really happy. What I know about this is that it's a memoir or a biography about Michelle Zauner. She is known as a singer and a guitarist in a band called Japanese Breakfast. But this book also talks about her life as a Korean American, including losing her mother from, I think, a critical illness and also forging her own self-identity. So I'm really excited about that. But I still do have other 5 ebooks on the priority list. And the reason why is it's my arcs for April video. I have 5 April arcs. 5 books that are publishing this month, and we will be highlighting them on a reading vlog. I'll be sharing those books with you. First is Fake It Till You Make It by Laura Carter, which will be publishing by April 8th. It is a fake dating story about Abby, whose family invited her ex to her parents' vow renewal ceremony, and she will be inviting her hot new neighbor to help her fake date, so just she could have a +1 on that ceremony. Next, we have The Last Love Song by Katie Holford. This is publishing April 9, and it's a queer YA Mamma Mia retelling. So it's about a summer adventure about facing the present, confronting her feelings, and forging the destiny she truly wants. The third book I have is publishing on April 16th. It's called The Sweet Life by Portia Macintosh. It's about it's a romantic comedy. It's friends to lovers. It features the friends to lovers trope and forced proximity because they will be staying in the same suite. Next, I also have another book publishing April 16th. It's The One That Got Away with Murder by Trish Laundrie. I am part of a blog tour about this, so I'll be featuring this book on my Instagram and on my book talk. And what I know about this is it's about a teen who is forced to confront her past in order to catch a murderer before she ends up to be the next victim. Lastly, I have Not How I Pictured It by Robin Leffler, publishing on April 23rd. This book, I requested it because it had features that I like. It would be featuring a celebrity, an ex-teen superstar who would be reuniting with her former co-stars. They would be in an island and they would be stranded for the reunion. So the reunion turned out to be something way different than what she was expecting. So those are the ebooks that I plan on reading this April. And lastly, we have my priority audiobooks. I only have 3. First, I have Tokyo Ever After by Emiko Jean. This is, I think, a YA modern royalty story. Yeah, it says Izzy, our main character, finds herself caught between two worlds and versions of herself, the American her and the Japanese royalty her. So she'll try again to find her identity. Similarly to Michelle Zolner's experience, I think with with being biracial and identifying if you are an American or a Japanese. So next, I have another Korean authored book. It's If I Had Your Face. It's about four women who had different struggles in their life. I watched Gabby from Gabby Reads read about this book, and I was curious about its premise that it's about women wishing I had her face and how that having her face might change it. But you know, it's like the saying, the grass is greener on the other side, wherein everyone is not content, everyone has longings in their life. So we'll see. Then the last one is Disorientation. It's about a Taiwanese American woman's coming of consciousness, eye-opening revelations, and chaos on a college campus. And it says there that this is an outrageously hilarious and startlingly tender debut novel. So I don't know much about it, but it was available on my library, so I requested the book. So those are my priority TBR. I still have 5 books I placed on my possibility pile, and 3 of those are physical books, so let's talk about them. So these 3 are all Book of the Month books because, again, I have quite the Book of the Month shelf and I haven't been touching them mostly, and some of these books have been here for 5 years already. So yeah, again, these are all Asian authored books. The first one I have is Miracle Creek by Angie Kim. This is a courtroom thriller. This is about a South Korean immigrant family and a young single mother accused of killing her autistic son. So I've had this book for quite a while now. I actually have 2 copies for some reason, and I've always been curious about this. I am a fan of true crime. I am a fan of courtroom thrillers, so this one is right up my alley. I'm very excited about this. Okay, so the second book I have is another Asian authored book. It recently arrived on my shelf. It was featured on the last book haul video. If you haven't watched it, I'll link it down below. And it is The Leftover Women by Jean Kwok. It's about 2 different women. I think this one is set in New York City. Their paths will collide. They will be on a collision course according to this blurb. It says that this is an evocative family drama talking about the ferocious pull of motherhood for 2 very different women. So we'll see. The last book I have is Advika and the Hollywood Wives by Kirthana Ramisetti. This was an April 2023 Book of the Month pick. What I know about this book is that we have Advika. She fell into like a whirlwind romance with this Hollywood guy. And her husband has well-known exes. So in this book, she realized that she rushed into the marriage for all the wrong reasons. She gets information about the lives of her husband's exes, and she will make a plan to extricate herself from Julian, her husband, once and for all. So I think her husband is very fishy. His relationship with his exes were fishy. So she has to find a way to escape this horrible relationship, it seems like. And I'm very intrigued. Again, I'm always intrigued with like celebrity, famous people's lives. And I think this one, again, is right up my alley. So there. And now we're down to my final book options. So I have 3 other ebooks that I have arcs of but haven't actually read. So I am looking forward to have extra time, hopefully, to read them. And these 2 are both by Filipino authors. So the first one is Know You by Heart by Tiff Marcelo. I think this is the second installment in a series, but I'm hoping that I can read it as a standalone. It's about the Puso family, or heart in English. So here it's about a marriage of convenience between two people who originally needed to be married, benefiting both of them for two different reasons, and then they found themselves seeing this marriage as inconvenient, so they plan on separating, but along the way they might find reasons to stay together as well. So I'm hoping I get a happy ending out of that one. And then the other one is After Perfect by Ma and Gabrielle. It's about a 36-year-old woman, Gabriella Stevens, living a quiet and content fairy tale as a devoted housewife to Simon, just as her traditional Filipino mother has always told her to do. But after 16 years of marriage and 20 years later, he tells her he wants a divorce. So this tells the story of Gabriella finding herself after the seemingly perfect marriage. So there, I think I had 12. So I think I have 12 priority books and 5 possible books just in case I have extra time. So ending at 17 books, I think is just the right amount if we compare it to my March reading experience. I did experience quite a slump with one video that I did about cozy mysteries. I didn't like any of them, but I did push on reading them. I think I have to teach myself the DNF books, but though that experience almost brought me to a reading slump, and I would not do that again. So here's hoping that April will be a good reading month. I'm super excited about these reads. I hope you are excited about them too. Please tell me what books you plan to read on April. What book should I pick first on my April priority TBR? And yeah, thank you so much for watching, especially if you're still here at the end of this video. I hope to see you on the next one. Bye!